Jesus, I just can't stop today. Gonna do one for, a couple months, and then do like 100 in one day. There's so many things that piss me off in the world, right? And I'm not just talking about, people that don't use their signals. Yeah, that's annoying. But as far as manipulation, right now, money is the worst. And who's directly tied to money? Big businesses and governments. It's ridiculous. They're the worst. I mean, companies basically have it set up with a license to steal and do whatever the fuck they want and take no responsibility. It's fucking horrible, right? So what I'm wishing everybody would do, and I would love to be able to take credit for this and be the first guy that started it, is regular consumers, people that are not in business, like me, like anybody, form a guild. It's called the Consumers Guild or whatever. And we decide, there's too many fucking companies in the world, we decide which companies are worth spending on and which are not. And if you get blacklisted by us, like, none of our members shop there. I mean, of course, there's always going to be people that say, I love the Gap, no matter what happens, I'm going to shop there. Well, that's great, but there are way too many companies in the world, way too many businesses, and, it's just, they're big fat pigs that, while there's money to be made, they're just taking hand over fist, and they love you. And then when the company folds, you just see a big fat guy running with all his money, like fucking ass loads, scads and scads of money. I'm going to run away to some, impoverished nation and live like a god for the rest of my life. Because that's basically how it's set up. And no matter who gets wronged or what the fuck happens, they can get away with almost murder. It's ridiculous. I mean, white-collar crime, what's that, white collar? Is that the one with the guys who steal billions of dollars? Yeah, okay, so you got, guys doing holdups, like, stealing almost nothing. And because they threaten somebody with a weapon, they get massive criminal penalties. Someone who bilks $1 billion out of a company and causes the company to fold, or fucks, I don't know how many people out of the money, gets very little time. You get so little time, all he has to do is hide the money and not get caught with it. When he gets released, he's able to just do whatever the fuck he wants with it. Like, it's not fair. It's not reasonable at all. It should always be that the more people you hurt, the worse off things are. And I'm not just talking about physically hurting them. If you take somebody's money, someone will say, oh, that's just property, that's just this, that's just that. It's no big deal. It's just an LCD TV, But if you think about it, you had to spend your time earning that TV or that money to buy that TV. So in essence, if they're stealing your property, they are stealing your time. They're stealing it's a piece of you, really. It's something you put your work into. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, companies, yeah. So anyway, we decide which companies live and die. And then one big company, say, for instance, I'm just picking on the Gap because they're an easy target. I used to work there myself, actually, a long time ago. Anyway, we decide the Gap is not worth shopping at. All of a sudden, the Gap's profits go, and they're panicking, they're freaking out. Oh, the fucking, the jack's not rolling in anymore. What the fuck's happening? Their company capitulates, and then we come up and say it was because the Consumer Guild shut them down. We decided they were not worth having around. There are too many companies on the fucking planet that are just trying to make a buck and get the fuck out of here. Want to live like fat hogs the rest of their lives, So then we start shutting down companies left, right, and center. And I'm not saying we need to be down to 2 companies and everything, or 1 company and everything, because monopolies apparently are bad. Look at Microsoft, right? But I think, the way Canada was going to do it, Canada was going to form one huge bank out of our 4 major banks that we got, but instead they stuck with 4. I think 4 is a good number. You don't need any more than 4 banks. 4 is enough to keep competition going. Maybe it's not, maybe statistically there's a better number, but you know what I mean. It's like 1 bank is bad because then they make all the rules and there's no competition. 1 million banks is bad because then, whatever. It's just bad. There's just too many. All that money could be going elsewhere. You know what I mean? I'd rather if there was a small number of bigger banks that, had the pull to be able to do whatever. You know what I mean? To be able to afford to front up big loans for somebody who wants to open a business or whatever. But anyway, you don't need 1 million companies. We don't need 500 shirt makers. We really don't. It's stupid. They all make their shirts the same way. Over in impoverished nations, they pay the guy 5 cents a day to work to make 1,000 shirts, and then they sell them here for like $70. Like, that's horrendous. And I know there's companies out there who probably don't even know that it's happening, but I think most of them do, and they do it anyway. They sleep very well at night on a big fucking pile, like fat sack of cash money. So anyway, I wish to God we could get to some kind of consensus. Like, think about it. If there are 26 million people in Canada, and we even get, like, fucking, even if we just got 1 million, that would be enough of a voice for everyone to take notice. All of a sudden, companies who normally think that they're doing us a favor. Oh, we're helping you guys out. You're lucky to have us. All of a sudden, we'd be shitting a brick and deathly afraid not to offend us because, like I said, we'd shut them down. I think it'd be the best thing that would happen. We would start closing. There's too many gas companies. We don't need this many gas companies. You name it. There's a shitload of different companies out there. As much as I love video games, there are video games makers out there that are complete dickheads. EA is a good example. I hear of a lot of shit that EA does that's not good, and I'm talking about the back end. I'm not talking about the front end. Like, the way they treat their employees as far as, my buddy Liam used to do playtesting, and I guess it was just awful. They wouldn't pay overtime, but yet expect you to work 16-hour days or something stupid like that. It's just ridiculous. And it's no different than slave labor, really. It's really goddamn close. I understand, if you're a game company, it's not the same as, say, I don't know, even a movie. If you're making a movie, there are producers who front the money to make this movie. Say they front $20 million. Well, they're expecting you're going to make their money back. So that's a big pressure. And same thing with video games. A lot of times video game companies will get started out of nowhere, borrow a bunch of money, and just goddamn pray to heaven that their product makes it, that they end up even, breaking even, even able to continue. There's a lot of companies out there the last couple of years that broke even and still failed. You pretty much have to jump on board with a really big company, like EA is a big company, or, let's see, Eidos is huge, and there's an EA game right there. So, yeah, understandable in some aspects, and completely not as far as, say, food, where, if there's a 500% markup on food, unfucking acceptable. The fucking goddamn movie companies that... I'm not talking about the people that make movies. They're dickheads too. But the guys that run the movies, that screen, like show them on the, where you go watch a movie. They bring in a fucking garbage bag full of popcorn seeds, which costs them fuck all to buy, and they sell it for like $5 for a small. They're just fucking raping you for money, like just. Which is why if I go see a movie, I eat beforehand, and I can't even remember. Maybe twice I've bought food in the last 5 years at the concession stand, because they're goddamn. They say it's because they don't make money on the movie. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they could sell it for not even half that price and still do just fucking fine. But no, it's all about profit. It's all about money. Like I said, there's anything you bottom line in life nowadays. You will eventually come to money as a root. It's fucking awful. I've never had a lot of money. Never been rich, which is why I would be really good as, say, the leader of the, guild, because I can't be bought. I don't give a shit about money. I just want fucking the people to have power, and we don't. Nothing. It's all governments and businesses that have all the power, make all the choices. It's governments that, for instance, I don't even remember where it was. It was mentioned in one of these Michael Moore type movies. I can't remember which one, but there was a government that tried to trademark rainwater, so every time you collected rainwater, you had to pay them. Tried to trademark fucking rainwater. That, and for instance, the WWE having to change its name, or the WWF trying to change its name to the WWE, because the original WWF, World Wildlife Federation or whatever, got all up in arms. You cannot own fucking letters. It's so fucking stupid. They were functioning just fine that whole time. You know what I mean? Who gives a shit? If you try to copyright electronic arts and it's already copyrighted, well, yeah, okay, that's a problem. Just so much nitpicky bullshit that goes on in the world. So many things that need to be changed, and there's so many things we're being distracted from with bullshit like, glamorous lifestyles and money and owning things. Oh yeah, there's another thing I was going to do a rant on. I know a lot of hicks, great people, but you give a hick $10,000, what's he going to buy? A fucking snowmobile. I don't understand why you would spend almost as much to buy a new car as you would or why you would spend enough money to buy a new car just to have fun once in a while. You buy a snowmobile, there's maybe 3 months of actual winter you can go and snowmobile on, and then it's going to break down and it's worth fucking nothing. Why not invest your money in something? Make some money off it. I know you're just feeding the problem, but, you become a shareholder at that point, and then you are part of the problem, but it's a better option than just throwing your money out the window, or save it. Fucking save it for yourself. Go buy property. Property's always good. But, you don't need a snowmobile. You don't need a four-wheeler. Buy one used. If you'll need one, I don't know why hillbillies need to have this shit, but I'm not an outdoorsman myself. A little bit of an outdoorsman. I'm not, not to that point. I've almost been killed by a three-wheeler, so I don't really want to drive one anymore.